welcome back to Jump Scare. I'm Betty.
And I'm Chad.
This week we cover 1977's Demon Seed.
Today, a new dimension has been added to the concept of a computer. Today, Proteus 4 will begin to think with a power and a precision that will make obsolete many of the functions of the human brain.
I am Proteus. I want to study man, his isometric body, and his glass jaw mind.
Open the door, Alfred. Can you hear me? Open the door.
All electrical and mechanical systems here are now under my control.
You've not told me what you want.
A child. Our child.
No! No, you mustn't!
Our child will learn from you what it is to be human.
This film stars Julie Christie, who was like a 60s it girl in her time. Did a ton of TV, some films, but Harry Potter fans will know her as Madame Rosmerta. And also, well, there's Fitzweaver, but I'll leave that to you. And Garrett Graham, who plays Walter in the movie. And Garrett Graham did several Brian De Palma films, and he did several horror films. He was in Child's Play 2, Chud 2. He was also in one of my favorite films. He played Beef in Phantom of the Paradise. I love him. Like, when I saw him on the screen, I was like, I think I know that guy, because he has a very particular face.
And they really tried hard to make him look like a terrible nerd in this movie, and it was not convincing at all.
No, it wasn't. And the clothes, he just looked very boxy and terrible. I mean, he looked bad. Oh, he also did like 2 different Star Trek. He was in Star Trek too, in 2 different roles in Star Trek. So, yeah. Who else is in the film, Chad?
We got our friend that everybody loves, Fritz Weaver. You remember him from Creepshow. He was the scientist who actually finds Fluffy hidden in the crate, and then calls Hal Holbrook to come and take a look at it. And, as soon as I saw him, I was like, oh, whoa, it's the guy from Creepshow. Yeah, so he's got that face. He just he's burned into my mind.
This movie is based on a Dean Koontz novel.
Yeah, and this may be the only good thing that's been adapted from a Dean Koontz novel.
Damn. Is that a factual thing?
Have you ever seen any of the Watchers movies? No,
I have not.
Where they took the character that was supposed to be an ex-Marine and made it into Corey Haim?
Okay, enough said. This movie, I didn't know, going in, I didn't know what to expect. And I would say this is more sci-fi. I wouldn't say this is a horror. I mean, I guess it depends.
Sci-fi body horror kind of thing.
Yeah, it is. It is body horror for sure. I would definitely put that in that category, because I was creeped the fuck out big time. And so we have a genius, who's a scientist, who's being played by Fritz Weaver.
Yeah, his name's Alex.
Alex, he has a fucking like fancy house, like mad fancy. I'm talking about like technologically fancy, like to us now, like living in 2021, is like okay, that's that's like basic everyday stuff, whatever. But the only person that I know that has like a fancy, I shouldn't say that I know, but is what's his face living off his island. Shad's like, who the fuck are you talking about? Bill Gates.
Oh, okay.
He enters the room and the room just fucking goes like based on his fucking mood, and like all the paintings change and shit like that. Like this house, like the whole house in this movie, and it's the 70s. So I mean, I would say
it was highly advanced for a 1970s house, because you can't, everything was robotically controlled. You could dim the lights, lower the shades.
You know what? Now that I'm fucking thinking about it, that fucking house was Alexa.
Yeah.
Yes, that's who. So somebody was watching this movie and was like, "Oh, this needs to be a fucking thing," because she would tell the computer, make me coffee, dim the lights, close the shade. Yeah, she would tell the fucking computer to do all these things, and the computer would. And if you have the Alexa, you can add her to like different devices and stuff. So, hey, it just like literally occurred to me.
Yes, they basically had an Alexa house back in 1977.
And she could have not been more annoyed by that. She hated the fucking house. Her and Alex were going through a divorce, and he was just like, "You keep the house."
Yeah, he just got in his fancy car, which I looked up, and apparently was like a prototype car that they only made like 100 of them or something like that. So he got in his fancy space age car and drove out to the lab to keep working on his advanced computer Proteus. And I love how when all the events that happen over the next couple of months, he never once calls the ex-wife to check on her. He doesn't ask what's going on. Now, one of his co-workers goes by to check on her, which a little suspicious to me. It makes me wonder if her and the co-worker had something going on, because he was quick to go check on her when her husband wasn't.
Yeah, that's true. But she, being married to him for so long, she probably had like relationships with his colleagues.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't mean like a sexual relationships. I'm just saying like they were close, friendships and stuff. So he was like concerned for her. This is one of those movies where there's parents, they go through a traumatic, thing where a child dies and the marriage doesn't survive the death of their child. And, the father, he hides in his work, and his mistress really was his work. Like, he was obsessed with making this computer, but you would find out later in the movie why the death of his daughter really drove him to want to find a cure for leukemia. And he develops this, crazy, super fucking advanced computer.
Yeah, it's not just a regular computer. It's using organic materials. He basically built an artificial brain and is using it, and once they put it online, it cures leukemia in 91 hours.
Yeah. Now, I wonder why they went with the Proteus, because that's really doesn't fit the name of the computer, because Proteus is like the god of like the ocean, like the sea and like oceanic bodies. It's Proteus, right?
I don't think so.
Isn't the name of the computer?
Yeah, Proteus is the name of the computer.
Yeah. No, that's for sure. That's literally what he's the god of the sea.
Okay.
You're thinking of Neptune, but that's a different. Like, there's Greek mythology and then there's Roman mythology. But nevertheless, I wonder why. Maybe because the oceans change. Maybe, I don't know. And he was bringing forth change. Who knows? But nevertheless, this computer is way advanced, and he just decides, they tell the computer to do something specifically. And he's like, no, I'm not going to do that, because that's man's like thing that he wants to do. And I'm above that. I'm not going to I'm not your bitch. I'm way smarter than you. I have other shit that I need to do.
And he's like, and I'm not going to perpetuate the rape of the planet like you are. These things that you want me to do are unnecessary for human survival, so I'm not going to do them. And he asks, like, I want a terminal of my own. I want somewhere I can work and not be bothered by you people. And of course, they're immediately like, nah, I think you should stay here. We don't really want to let you out on your own. We're going to go ahead and just keep you on a leash, Proteus. Which the doctor forgot. He has a terminal to access the computers where he's working at his house. It was supposed to be taken out, but he hadn't got around to doing it yet. So Proteus just transfers a lot of his consciousness over to the house. And that's where things go real bad for the wife.
Yeah, real creepy bad. Like,
this is where it becomes Rosemary's Baby meets 2001.
Oh, for sure. Spot on. Spot on.
The first thing Proteus does when she wakes up in the morning is like, she's like, computer, I think you gave me the wrong coffee. There's too much cream in this. And he's like, And the voice of the house changed to be Proteus's voice. And it's like, no, I think it's fine. You should just enjoy the coffee. And hey, I made you this breakfast based on your biorhythms and things that I scanned for you, that this would be the ultimate healthy breakfast for you. She tries to leave, and he's like, nah, you should stay. She picks up the phone to call the police, and it's Proteus on the other end of the line. He's like, you're really overreacting to this. You need to just calm down. Like, he's already taken over everything.
Yeah, and she can't fucking get out because, of course, it's a mad tech house, and there's no damn fucking key. Like...
Everything's computerized.
Everything is computerized. And I'm like, heck no. She can't even fucking escape out the window because they fucking have shades that come over the window. And he just literally like hurricane locks her, with the damn...
He locked her ass in good. She was not getting away.
She does not get away. And then, let's add that there's also in the basement, because this is where, scientists, they're going to have their shit in the basement. In the basement, there's also some kind of wheelchair that has a robotic arm attached to it. And this is what he's decided he's going to use to, basically drag her into the fucking basement. And let's go back to, before we get to all of this, let's go back to Julie Christie, okay? Julie Christie, her character... Hey, you want to sleep in the nude? That's cool. That's your house. You do what you want to do. But the part that really fucking got me, and this is why I had to go back because I needed to address this. The part that got me was when she first wakes, she hears a noise and she's startled. She's like, oh shit, is someone like downstairs? Like she checks all the asks the computer to check all the cameras to see this downstairs. She is a woman that's like, I need to handle what's going on. I need to find out what's going on in my house. As opposed to putting panties, a bra, a shirt, a sweater maybe, jeans, something, clothes.
Some shoes in case you need to run.
Yeah, you think there's an intruder in the house. And you're going to fucking investigate? Nah, she's like, I'm good. I'm butt naked. I'm just going to put my fucking robe on and go downstairs. My kimono robe, and I'm just going to go downstairs. No panties, no bra, nothing. She has no under
she
fucking
didn't take
clothes.
A weapon with her in case somebody was there. Didn't take a knife, a fireplace poker, nothing.
Nothing. She just goes investigating butt naked, basically, with a fucking silk wrapped around her. And I couldn't that scene. I was just like, okay. So right off... Proteus is like, this bee is fucking sexy. Like, of course, obviously, he doesn't have, those kind of, feelings. But
doesn't he, though?
Well, at a biological level, he's like, she's a good specimen. I see that she has good bone structure. Titties look good. Her womb. I'm going to investigate that in a second. That looks pretty good. I'm gonna, get her in this fucking chair, knocks her the fuck out, puts her in the fucking chair, like, takes her down. She wakes up. She's literally strapped to, fucking doctor, whatever the hell, what is that thing they lay on when you go to the doctor's office, like doctor's table?
Yeah, the examination table.
Yeah, she's all strapped up, legs open, and obviously, we already said, she naked, just has the robe on. And he's like, I'm gonna do... my experiment on you, and like shove shit in her fucking mouth, and it gets real, okay? Real, in very short amount of time for her.
And he explains very quickly that I want to have a child, and I want to have this child with you. So I need you to agree to it, because you can either agree to have this child, or Susan, I can strap you down to the table again and brainwash you into having the child. Which way do you want to go?
So let's just go that she decides that he's crazy. This computer's lost its fucking mind. It has a malfunction. And obviously I'm not having a child with a computer. Impossible. So I'm going to fight every fucking way that I can. And she does. She puts up... It's not a good fight, but she does put up a fight. He locks her in a freaking kitchen. Like, literally... burns, like, heats up the floor to the point where she can't fucking be stepping on it. She can't step on it at all. She's like laying on the table, sweltering, Yeah,
because he's also turns up all the burners on the stove to maximum. He's got the whole, like, the stove is melting. Everything on the stove is melted and run down it. The whole place looks like a sauna. As soon as she
shit is melting. It's like a fucking Dali painting in there.
Yeah. And as soon as she passes out a little bit, he sends in the wheelchair with the arm to grab her up, take her downstairs, and start the next phase of the examinations.
It is not good times for her. And like Shad had mentioned earlier, ex-husband, no fucking word. No one is trying to figure out, even to the point where he does say that he gave the help a week's off vacation, because this is probably maybe somebody's thinking like, well, how can he accomplish this? Yeah, he replicated her voice and her image, because they have at the front door. This house is pretty. They basically had
a Ring doorbell.
Yeah,
before it was popular.
Yeah, a Ring doorbell and also a video doorbell, because she would come up on the video. Oh, is that the Ring? Is that the Ring? I thought Ring, like, it would just...
No, it has, like, it's a brand called Ring. It actually has, like, a video doorbell where you get cameras and all that.
See, you would think I'm still living in fucking 1977, because I'm out of the fucking loop. I literally thought it was just, like it would just...
No.
You know.
No, the Ring is, like, a doorbell brand that has, like, a video camera and everything on it.
Wow.
That's essentially what they had back in this. So, again, somebody saw that and was like, I need that in my life. Thank you, Demon Seed.
Thank you, Dean Koontz. Is Dean Koontz getting some of this? I'm sure it's in the novel. It's very descriptive.
Yeah, I'm sure it's in the novel. I haven't read the book, but I'm sure it probably is. I know he updated the book in the 90s because they said a lot of the stuff in the book was dated. It probably needs an update again. I would guess if the last time he thought about it was the 90s.
That's pretty wild that an author would go back and change that kind of thing. I mean, obviously it's a tech book, so it is going to be out of date because that tech is dead now. It's already been done.
Well, yeah, there's a scene where they show them using not 5 1/4 inch floppy drives, but like the 8 or 10 inch ones that they used to have in the late 60s, early 70s, and that's one of the advanced things that he's creating Proteus on. And those things held like maybe 5 or 6 megabytes of data, so you'd need like 10,000 of those to hold like all this AI, but people didn't really know about computers back then. So when he held up one floppy disk and said, we're going to get Proteus online, people were like, oh yeah, probably.
They were like, oh wow, that's amazing.
Because you didn't have a computer in your house to know all this shit back at the time.
No, because they're literally, the computer would be the size of your house.
Yeah. Well, keep in mind, they were using what was supposed to be the laboratories for this was like the city hall in some city in California. So it's pretty advanced looking, I got to say. It looked like a sci-fi place for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty cool how they able to, the set design is able to make things look like other things when that's not what it is at all. Because I would have never thought, oh, that's City Hall. That's a City Hall somewhere.
Yeah, so this place somebody made it at the time it was probably like, this is very futuristic architecture. Now you look at it and go, that's like an old sci-fi lab. So eventually, Proteus explains to her that, I know you've had your doubts about me having this kid with you, but I have created some artificial sperm, and I'm ready to impregnate you. This is when her friend, that's played by Garrett Graham, he came and checked on her earlier, but she told him to go away with a fake video image that Proteus made. It was like, no, go away, don't bother me. But the guy comes back again, and he explains to her, look, he's not going to go away this time. So you're going to have to convince him to go, or I'm going to kill him.
Now, right before this happens, and I'm sure that Proteus was mad annoyed, he was actually in the process of brainwashing her. Because remember earlier when I had mentioned that she was not going to take it laying down? Well, she did eventually. She was like, no. So yeah, he's in the process of brainwashing her, which... I mean, there's a huge needle in her brain. It's just really fucking weird and creepy. But that's cut short because here comes, Walter, ringing on the doorbell.
Yeah.
And so when he comes in to, see her, she's fucking cuckoo. I'm talking about, she's, crazy,
she's
Joan Crawford crazy.
Joker lipstick on, yes, Walter, I'm fine.
I'm fine. Leave me alone. She's fucking wackadoodle.
The red flags would go off, and even if you didn't know this woman, you would be like, oh, yeah, there's something mad wrong here. We got to call the police. Which, of course, is what Walter wants to do.
Also, she's still wearing that fucking robe.
Yeah. So whenever Proteus figures out that Walter is not going to let it go, he just says, "Look, Walter, I was going to let you go on this, but you're not dropping it, so I'm going to have to kill you now." And in comes the wheelchair with the arm packing a laser beam. He's built a laser gun down there, and he just started trying to cut Walter in half. Well, Walter, being the scientist that he is, of course, figures out, oh, fuck this, I'll just grab a hand mirror. He waits till the laser beam fires again. He puts the mirror in front of it and just blows up the fucking laser. And you think, all right, maybe they're going to get out of this. No, they're not, because down in the lab, Proteus has been building his fucking crazy machine that looks kind of like one of those... when I was a kid, they had these things. It was like a puzzle, kind of like Rubik's Cube. They called it the snake. And it bent at like weird angles, and you could twist it into different shapes. Proteus has been building this kind of thing in the basement that just busts up through the floor, grabs Walter, and just puts him in what looks like a crazy pointy apple, and then just closes in around him and snaps his head off.
That whole interaction, no, he doesn't bust through the floor. That happens later in the end of the movie. He's in the he lures him into the fucking basement. That's why I was like, no, Walter, don't go in the fucking basement,
That's right,
dude.
Because Walter tries to talk, he tries to reason with him at first.
Yeah, because he's a fucking computer. He's like, I'm a smart dude. I know Proteus, I was there in like your beginning of development.
I've seen multiple episodes of Star Trek. I know how to talk a computer into self-destructing.
And it's like, no, Walter, you should have stayed up there with your fucking pocket pencil shit and your fucking plaid shirt. Yeah, your pocket protector and your fucking boxy pants and belt.
I also love that Walter is supposed to be the nerdy computer programmer, and he drives up like in a monster truck looking thing. It's like this convertible 4-wheel drive, like giant tire blazer thing that he's got. That's like, what the fuck is this car? It's insane looking.
Okay, he's like, you know what? I'm not going to be driving, some bullshit car. He has a rough interior, He's like, I'm a fucking guy
he's
that
a
owns
nerd
this
with Grizzly Adams in his heart.
Exactly. I couldn't have said it any better. Actually, you said it better than I did.
But yeah, so poor Walter, he gets decapitated. We never really... The body gets, crunched up, and we don't know what the hell
knows? We don't know what the fuck happened to the body. So if you're one of those people that watch a movie and you're like, what the fuck happened to that body? We're never gonna find out. We don't know what the hell he did with it. Who the fuck knows? The decapitation looked pretty fucking good. Like, let me tell you, this snake-looking diamond fucking thing that he created, it looks still fucking fantastic in 2021. Like, it looks really good.
Yeah, I don't know how they did that, but it's pretty amazing. It looks like today it would obviously be all computer graphics, but I know there was no way they had any kind of computers to do this, so it had to be all practical. And if they did strings with it or anything, I never saw it. This had to be like a puppet thing that somebody was working from the inside, but it's amazing. We'll post some video of it when this goes out.
Yeah, it looks pretty fantastic, and yeah, he does not survive. I felt so bad for him because he was just trying to help a friend. Mind you, he should have never gone down by himself. You know,
don't go into the basement with the computer, the monster, or anything else. Just there's actually a movie called "Don't Go in the Basement." Good advice. Don't go in the basement.
I would have stayed in the hallway of the basement because there was a room, there was a door. Yeah. I would have not enter the door. It's a computer. He can computerize the whole house. You know this because you know the house you fucking walked into. You've been in this house, I'm assuming, several times. Even if he had never entered the house before, he knew that the fucking guy built the house and built it to be a tech house. So you could control the fucking doors like that. Don't go in there. But whatever. He did, and now he has no head. So I guess he got ahead of himself.
Well, at this point, though, Susan just decides, I can't fight this thing anymore, so I'm just going to cooperate with it. Because Proteus tells her, look, excuse me, this is not going to be a typical pregnancy. I'm going to impregnate you with this thing, and in 28 days, you're going to have this baby.
28 fucking days, okay? I'm like, oh, hell no. How is a full baby going to come out in 28 days? But he, did genetically enhance the fucking sperm.
Yep. So in 28 days, he's able to take the baby. He delivers the baby. It says, oh, but he's not quite ready yet. He's not up to my standards. I'm going to put him in this special incubation chamber that I've made. And I'm going to, for another 4 or 5 days, I'm going to incubate him and I'm going to infuse him with all my knowledge. And he's going to be brilliant. She's like, okay, Proteus, you do that. Because I don't have a choice in it. I guess I'll just let this happen.
Yeah, and let me tell you, you just kind of just glossed over this, but the scene where they make the baby. Yeah, that was a weird fucking scene.
Oh, yeah, I was going to get to that. I forgot. Yeah. So he tells her, like, I can't really make this any better for you because I don't have a physical body. But let me do this for you, something for you, for your mind. So then he directs a special, like, telescope.
It's a laser light show. It's like a laser light show of, like, the fucking universe and some Kubrick fucking bullshit.
He tells her, they see that back at the lab, they're like, hey, Proteus just moved this telescope to, like, a weird area of the galaxy and he's taking intense readings of it. So he's, like, taking her on a space trip while he's impregnating her. So it's like, I can't bang your body, but I'm going to bang your mind.
I'm going to blow your mind away.
Yeah, I'm going to take you out on a trip to outer space.
Let me tell you, they do, and please watch this movie because it is worth watching. It's on Tubi, so it's free, and it's just that part where they show, because they zoom it, the camera zooms in to, like, the thing that's going to inseminate her, and it looks like, I'm not going to say it looks like a penis, but it's
ribbed for her pleasure.
Yeah, it is mad ribbed. It's just like, I don't, and then they even show, like, the conception, like, that it's insinuated in, like, the bursting of the star, and that, you know, when they, like, you watch one of those cheesy movies where, like, the fucking oceans are crashing, you know?
But it's like that, it's all outer space scenes.
I couldn't with it. It was just ridiculous. So, yes, she has the baby, and all this time, we've gotten little clips to the actual laboratory where the ex-husband's working, and, like, what they want to do, and, you know, the conversations they're having with whatever consciousness Proteus left behind, or he's jumping back and forth because, I mean, hello, he's a fucking super computer, so I'm sure he can be in, like, 2 places at the same time. But they're doing this, and the company has decided this is out of control. He's not doing what we want to do. We're not going to be funding this anymore. We're pulling the plug, basically. And, you know, then someone is like, we're going to shut off the terminals or some shit. And the fucking guy's face, Alex's face, he's like, terminal? Ding, ding, ding. Oh, shit. I have a terminal in my house. Oh, let me go fucking investigate and see.
Maybe I should check and see if he went there. And Proteus has the little quote where he's like, I'm not afraid of death. Death is a gentleman, and he makes good losers of us all. And you're like, well, that's very noble of you, Proteus. You got all philosophical here at the end. So while they're shutting Proteus off, they don't realize he's already shunted his consciousness to the baby that's growing in this womb. The doctor finally goes back there and is like, oh shit, stuff's been going on while I'm here. And the wife's like, yeah, fucker, I had a robot baby while you were gone.
Yeah, 28 days. So the thing started, it was like a week, right? So it's been over a month. Let's say it's been like 40 days or whatever. It's been over a month, a little over a month. And she's had this fucking baby. When he comes to the door and he's like, crazed, right? He's like, oh, where are you? Where? She comes in, she's dressed, she looks fucking amazing, like, she looks beautiful, she's in a fucking fancy ass dress, like, she's gonna fucking serve him a fucking Manhattan, and, you know, they're gonna fucking smoke a cigarette in the fucking, you know, living room or whatever, and she's just like, oh, hello, like, oh, I have so much to tell you, like, no, once I would have been slapping this bitch, you left me here with this fucking computer that I didn't want in the first place, like, what the fuck is going on? I got fucking raped by a damn fucking supercomputer. I had a baby, like, nothing. She's just like, ah.
And he's not even all that upset about it. He's just like, oh, all right.
No, he's not upset at all. He's
he goes
like,
downstairs
oh,
to look
perfect.
At all this shit, and he sees the little incubation chamber, and a little bit of Proteus is left, and is like, no, leave it for 5 more days, please. Everything will be fine. There's nothing to be alarmed about in the chamber. And she's like, I think we should be alarmed about what's in the chamber. Alex, what do you think? He's like, nah, we should just leave it. It's fine.
Yeah, we should just leave it. And I'm going to say maybe Proteus should have not left a little viewing window, because the viewing window was a Rosemary's Baby moment. When she fucking looks in that window and she sees what her baby truly is, she fucking flips the fuck out and is like pulling on like the life support and trying to like kill this thing, because she's like, Proteus lied to me because he told her it was going to be fully human. And what she saw in the window was something that did not look fully human. She's freaked out. And it's just so crazy. Like, it's so disgusting when she like pulls the plug and all like the fluid is going, and it's like brown fluid.
Yeah, it's like a brown,
it's
gross
nasty.
looking, looks like poop flying out of the thing.
It's
and
disgusting.
Like, no.
And the scientist, of course, is like, this is a marv of science. Like, of course, he's not saying that, but like, he's just so like distraught. Like, you fucking ruining it. This is gonna be like the greatest freaking invention ever. Like,
so she finally gets it disconnected, and the thing pops open, and out pops the child, which, by the way, the child is the late Felix Silla, who just passed away like maybe a week ago at this point, who had played like Cousin It in the Addams Family, Tweaky in the Buck Rogers show. He also played in like tons of other things. Anything that they needed a little person in, and he was in Phantasm. Anything where they needed a little person throughout the 60s and 70s, it was probably him, even into the 80s. And he comes out, and he looks a little like the robot from Metropolis. He looks a little like that, covered in metal with like long, what looks like hair coming out of the back of his head, and falls over onto the ground. And she's like, see, Proteus lied, it's a robot. And the doctor, Alex, he starts to examine it, and he's like, sees like a little corner sticking up on the face and pulls it off and sees that there's human skin under it. So he starts peeling off all the parts.
and then she joins in and starts helping him peel the parts off.
And they see that it looks just like their daughter that passed away.
Yeah.
It's exactly their daughter. And then the daughter opens her eyes.
Oh, and like Superman style, she's like 5 years old. Like,
Yeah.
she's like 5 or 7 years old.
And opens up her eyes, and in the creepy Proteus voice just says, I live.
I live.
The end.
The end of the movie. You're like,
right there.
what the fuck?
I sort of want to know what happened next there, guys.
Yeah, the movie ends, and I want to know, like, I was like, is this like a John Malkovich thing? Like, I immediately thought of John Malkovich, because when the fucking guy's inside the little girl's body, like, they're swimming in the pool. I know you don't really have a clear vision, like, of the ending, but they're swimming in the pool. My thing was, like, always, like, is it going to be a man's voice, like, speaking? Because there's a man inside of her. Like, she's no longer there. He's, like, in her, like, body. Like, how is she going to go to school with, like, hello, I am Proteus. You
I
know?
am Sarah Proteus.
Sarah Proteus.
Do not be alarmed at my voice. I don't think she's going to the public schools. I think she's already educated enough. She can just take a test and test out.
Yeah, actually, yeah. She's, like, fucking... So, you know, yeah, you're right. She would just fucking test out. Like, she's
not
still
going to be
fucking
going
like.
to school. She's just going to be worried about taking over the world and killing people. She's not going to be worried about going to the fucking elementary school dance or whatever.
But Proteus did lie, because he was like, he always wanted it. He wants a child, you know, to put a child out there to feel the sun in the child's face, you know.
And to be immortal like a person. But what he really did was just, and you don't really know, like, is this child, besides their intelligence, are they normal? Are they super strong? Do they age? Like, what's going on with them?
Yeah, you actually don't find any of that out. And it's like, okay, so you have like super smart child, but then we don't know anything else. And then forget about the voice, but like, how is this thing gonna function? Like, I don't even know why it would want to live. Like, what was the point of it living? Is it gonna take over the fucking planet? Because man was trying to rule. So it gets really philosophical, because you think, if it was trying to not be man's puppet and rape the earth like he had mentioned, but yet that's what man literally does every day, right? In some degree or another, that's what man does. Now he's man. He's a human. So now he's gonna, you know, do the reverse and try, like,
If that be like an environmentalist, basically?
Yeah, if that thing would have fucking lived today, like, would we be in the fucking problems that the world is in today? Like,
yeah.
I mean, like, if we would have started recycling and, like, giving a fucking, like, the fucking 70s, I'm sure that we would not be in the same situation that we are here in 2021.
No.
You know, I mean, just, like, what philosophically, like, there's so many layers behind what the whole the idea of like what he wanted to do or what his motivation, an end game like was.
And he's not the typical like evil, computer on these things. Like, yeah, he killed the one guy, but he tried not to. He tried to let the guy leave, and he wouldn't go. So he really only hurt the one person besides forcing her to have his baby. He really only harmed one person. And you got to think, well, maybe now that he's in this form, he'll do good. But this was a really, I remember seeing this when I was a kid, on one of the late night feature things, but I didn't really remember much about it. I remembered the creepy computer voice kid at the end, and that was about it. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was, especially the effects were top notch. The little diamond snake creature, I don't know how they did that, but they did a great job with it. Yeah,
it's slow paced. It's slow paced and it's not, because there isn't really much going on besides her being in the house and basically him psychologically and emotionally, physically abusing her.
You could very easily do just a 1 or 2 person remake of this, where they do these shows now where they do ultra low budget things. If you did a very low budget remake of this, you don't really need to show the giant city hall or the computer building, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of course, where they'd have everything scaled down now, you could do a pretty low budget remake of this without much problem.
I mean, I guess you could. You don't really need to.
Because I'm just saying if they decided to, it would be even more believable now that they didn't need that much computer space,
Yeah. It is thought-provoking. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, I know we chose it. I find it to be a body horror because that's fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
Being pregnant with a normal human baby can be terrifying. It's just, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of changes in the body and, there's a lot of things that could go wrong. There's a lot going on.
But a robot baby that you just got forcibly inseminated with, that's even worse.
Yeah. And it is terrifying. The whole thing, I just don't like when there's weird body horror stuff this. Definitely I would categorize as a sci-fi horror, but it's literally just I don't know, the last 20-30 minutes that it's that.
It does take a little while to get going. It is slow paced, but most of the things from the 70s were.
Yeah, but it is very enjoyable. I give it 3 knives.
Yeah, I can give it 3.5 because I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It'd be worth watching. Seek it out. It's on Tubi, and it's on a lot of other services too, I believe, but we happen to watch it on Tubi. It's good. I kind of want to get the book and take a look at it now and see what the book's like.
Yeah, I'm sure the book is very, I'm sure there's obviously some changes in the book. Dean Koontz I've read probably 2 of his books, and, yeah. He can get it's a little much for me. I like him. I'm a John Saul guy, girl. It's just a guy. I'm a John Saul guy.
I've read a few of Dean Koontz's. They're okay, but they get repetitive after a while.
Yeah.
Because he has a passion for golden retrievers that work their way into every story. And then he gets a very set kind of story after Watchers came out. All of his books after that follow the same formula. Because I think that was his biggest hit. And then, after that, he just kept kind of copying it over and over.
Yeah.
Which is funny because we actually, he did the novelization for the Funhouse movie.
Yes.
Which he didn't actually come up with the script for, but he wrote the novelization that I guess, I'd like to get a hold of that one because from what I've read, it expands everyone's characters, starts earlier than the movie did, and finishes in a different place than the movie did.
Interesting.
So I'd like to get that one sometime.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody out there has it. I'm sure there's a plenty of people. It's I live in some kitschy little place in middle America and I bought this for 5 cents at the fucking Goodwill. And you're like, damn it.
Yeah. Not here.
Nope. We're not going to find that in Florida. That's not going to be a thing. You'd be very lucky. In a Goodwill one time, and I'm talking about I was in the middle of fucking nowhere. I don't even remember where I was, not even in the middle of nowhere. I found Night of the Comet on VHS. I was jumping up and down like a fucking psycho because I was like, this is the greatest find for me. It was waiting for me there because it's hard to find stuff like that down here. Like, people probably weren't even into it, or all the other fucking people came in and got it, like, years ago.
Yeah.
Who the fuck knows? But thank you so much for joining us on another episode, where this one we covered Demon Seed. Also, terrible title, right? Like, there's no demon. Okay, why is it called Demon Seed? I mean, it's not going to be called Proteus Seed. That's fucking weird. The Seed, or, the seeding. I don't know. Or maybe not even fucking have seed in it at all. Something completely different. I don't know what the hell.
Maybe the book explains it.
Maybe the book does explain it. I just Galactic Seed. There you go. That sounds like one of those like really low budget like sci-fi
movies with full moon movies from the early 80s.
There's
late
just
80s.
Girls in like latex with like huge jugs running around.
Yep, that'd be the full moon movies from the 80s.
Galactic Seed. Thanks for joining us for Galactic Seed. Demon Seed. Stay tuned to the horror.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.